taste the difference between Lay's Wild Potato Chips and their favorite chips? Let's find out!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the commercial offerings that weren't exactly met with consumer enthusiasm upon their release.
Whatever happened to Google Glass?
It's still out there, but you know what? Sales of Glass stop at the end of this month.
Number 10, Amazon Fire Phone.
I hope that you guys have as much fun using this phone as we had building it.
And here it is, the new Amazon Fire Phone. Now it looks like a standard smartphone. It's got a decent back camera, 13 megapixel, but what's more interesting about it is the 4 front cameras right here.
Sure, the e-commerce giant has become arguably the biggest name in retail, with a number of successful non-retail ventures under their belt as well. But did you know that in 2014, Amazon attempted to compete with Apple by releasing the Fire Phone? Discontinued in 2015, it was an embarrassing misfire that the megacorporation would rather you forget.
Let's go in to Maps. And let's go to the Empire State Building. There we go. Let's zoom in even a little more. There's the Empire State Building.
Touted by Amazon for its dynamic perspective technology, the Fire Phone was blasted by critics and consumers alike, who lambasted its lack of innovation, failing to bring anything new to the table. Worst of all, none other than Greenpeace labeled the Fire Phone as the, quote, most polluting phone due to its excessive use of non-renewable energy.
Amazon's device will stand out. It is very different. The key question is, will that be seen as innovative or a gimmick?
It's not just the hardware.
Number 9, Soylent.
Have you heard of Soylent? Not Soylent Green, just Soylent. It's billed as a bold breakthrough in nutrition, a liquid replacement for conventional food.
It's caught on in Silicon Valley among those who don't want to spend precious time cooking food, eating it, and cleaning up afterward.
It's hard to argue that Soylent founder and software engineer Rob Reinhart had good intentions when devising the meal replacement brand. Taking the form of powders, shakes, and bars, Reinhart intended to revolutionize the food industry by excising the most time-consuming elements of meal preparation.
It takes a little bit of perspective to see that food really is made out of chemicals. It is reducible, and we can build it back up, and we can change it, and we can make it better.
Soylent is a powder. You mix it with water. Looking at the company's video, it seems people who drink Soylent live in a sleek, futuristic world where there's always trippy electronic music playing in the background.
However, unforeseen health consequences led to the product being banned in Canada for 3 years. Several reports of gastrointestinal illness, we'll spare you the gory details, led to the company issuing a recall, offering full refunds to dissatisfied and gassy customers. This was in addition to the presence of significant amounts of lead and cadmium, which Soylent defended by claiming that the product was non-toxic and that, quote, Soylent remains completely safe and nutritious, end quote.
There are some real issues, though, with it. When you start looking at how people absorb vitamins, most people actually like using their teeth, and biologically, it's probably better.
Do you recommend that people use Soylent?
No. I'd recommend that they learn to cook.
Number 8, Qwikster.
Over the long term, DVD and streaming are going to get more and more different. Streaming has incredible television shows. Streaming has incredible television shows. Streaming is instant. Streaming is fairly global. Streaming has many things that make it different from DVD. And that over time, both DVD and streaming will be much better because they're separate.
Nowadays, Netflix is known as the granddaddy of all streaming services, beating other companies to the punch in terms of delivering high-quality original content. You might also remember that the company got its start as a DVD delivery service, originating as a scrappy blockbuster competitor before usurping the rental chain entirely. However, what you might not remember is the streaming service giant's ill-fated Qwikster service, so ill-fated that it never even properly got off the ground.
I think what Reed Hastings did is actually going to be very prudent for the business. The writing is all over the digital wall. Physical media is dying, and Netflix's name is squarely implanted in association with that physical media. If that dies and subscription base continues to fall, so does the Netflix brand equity.
In 2011, Netflix announced its plans to split its subscription plan into 2 separate services, one that would cover DVD rental and another for streaming. Customer backlash was swift and harsh, And by October of 2011, plummeting stock prices convinced Netflix to abandon Qwikster for good.
Is it going to work? Long term, this is going to be a great business decision for Netflix. The timing, though, as Herb mentioned, is atrocious. They're in the middle of huge contract negotiations with major studios to get content. So why they would choose to do it at a nighttime on a blog is completely mind-boggling.
You know, because it's a smoke and mirrors type of thing. It doesn't change anything right now.
Number 7. Children's clothes that seemingly endorsed slavery.
New clothing causing outrage this morning, making a joke about slavery.
And the items aren't made for adults, but for children. Take a look at the shirt in question. It's got an image of the Egyptian pyramids with the word slavery gets blank done.
This is just one of those cases that gets people wondering, what were they thinking? The aforementioned Amazon came under fire in January 2018 when it was discovered that a third-party retailer was selling questionable merchandise. That is, according to Reuters, a range of products, from mugs and bags to t-shirts, modeled by young children that featured the eyebrow-raising slogan, "Slavery gets stuff done."
They were being sold on Amazon, but since been removed. They were shirts, baby bibs, jumpers, tote bags with that slogan on it.
Note that the merch did not say stuff, but a word not exactly fit for YouTube. The goods were pulled from Amazon following the embarrassing oversight, and a spokesperson's statement declared that, quote, "All marketplace sellers must follow our selling guidelines, and those who don't will be subject to action, including potential removal of their account."
Spokesman for an anti-slavery group, Anti-Slavery International, says the shirt, though, was meant to be a joke. It's no joke for 40 million people who continue to be affected by it around the world right now, and it's possible that sometimes people just put inappropriate stuff out there on purpose in an attempt to gain
You still just
attention.
wonder how, there's certain steps that have to be done to sell place. I mean,
can't fix stupid.
Number 6, McDLT.
McDonald's new McDLT. It could be the best tasting lettuce and tomato hamburger ever. You get a hot side hot. You get a cool side cool. New McDLT.
You kind of have to admit that the McDLT was, at least on paper, not a terrible idea. As described by Chowhound, the McDLT's goal was to keep the hot burger patty separate from the lettuce, tomato, cheese, and condiments via a unique dual compartment container the burger chain patented. Launched in 1984, it was intended to compete with Burger King's beloved Whopper.
Hey, you say you're getting tired of lettuce and tomato hamburgers in this town that don't quite make it? Yeah! You say that just once you'd like your hamburger hot and your lettuce and tomato cool and crisp all at the same time? Yeah! Well, I say you got it. I'm talking McDonald's new lettuce and tomato hamburger, the McDLT.
Being that one is still a fast food mainstay and the other went the way of the dodo, it doesn't take a great deal of imagination to determine that the McDLT was a flop. That was largely due to its excessive styrofoam packaging, which critics described as unnecessarily harmful to the environment. Can't McWin 'em all, it seems.
Keep it hot, hot, keep it cool, cool. McDLT, McDLT, hot, beefy McD, cool, crisp LT, McDLT. It's a good time, hot, beefy McD, for the great taste, cool, crisp LT of McDonald's.
Could be the best tasting lettuce and tomato hamburger ever.
New McD.
Number 5, Lululemon's see-through leggings.
Escalating scandal swirling about exercise clothing giant Lululemon, the retailer pulling loads of their popular yoga pants off store shelves across the country because they are, shall we say, too revealing.
It doesn't exactly take a business school degree to know that you probably shouldn't blame your product's well-established shortcomings on your customers' bodies. That's the route Lululemon founder Chip Wilson decided to take in 2013, when the Canadian company triggered a recall for black yoga pants that, according to CNN Business, quote, were unintentionally see-through.
I took back a pair of pants that were see-through. Have you actually worn them, though? Yeah, I had.
It makes them look bad. It makes the consumer think about, am I getting the best bang for my buck?
At around $100 a pop, this is no joke. Lululemon is apologizing for the cheeky issue, saying, quote, "We're doing everything we can to fix the problem, and replace these key items as quickly as possible.
The recall stock amounted to 17% of all women's pants sold in Lululemon stores and resulted in a class action lawsuit accusing the retailer of misleading shareholders as a way to cut financial corners. Wilson, interviewed about the debacle on Bloomberg Television, claimed that, quote, some women's bodies just don't actually work for the yoga pants, end quote. Oof.
Lululemon shares closed nearly 3% lower on Tuesday as Wall Street analysts questioned how the company's management could have allowed this to happen. The company is not having a good year on the stock market. Shares down 16% since January 1st, while the rest of the market, of course, is on a tear.
Number 4, Lay's Wow chips.
They're simply named Wow. Chips that have very little or no fat. Yes, that's right, 0 fat. Stores can't keep up with demand.
The sales are tremendous. I guess with a new item, anything that's fat-free or half the calories, they just tend to fly off the shelf. You just can't keep them in stock.
The famous American potato chip manufacturer might have gotten a bit too cocky with their "Bet you can't eat just one" slogan. Capitalizing on the then ubiquitous fat-free craze, Frito-Lay announced Wow chips to the market in 1998, with the product's fat supplanted by the food additive Olestra.
The main ingredient is Olestra. It passes through the body without releasing any fat or calories. Now, there are concerns Olestra robs the body of nutrients and vitamins, but the new fat substitute was given the okay by the Food and Drug Administration.
The new chips come in all types of flavors, everything from mesquite barbecue to nacho cheesier. And they look just like any other chip.
Selling $400 million worth of product in its first year, that number halved by 2000. But why, you might ask? Doesn't it sound like Frito-Lay permanently solved the problem of pesky extra calories? Ask beleaguered Wow consumers who experienced severe gastrointestinal problems because of Olestra, prompting the corporation to add a warning label for the stuff. The label cautioned that, quote, Olestra may cause abdominal cramping and loose stools. Yeah, no kidding.
These are fat-free?
Talk to me, stock boy.
Wow.
Okay, sum it up 10 words or less. Wow. Wow. Wow, these are good. You know, wow is mom upside down. Bet you can't taste the difference.
Bet I can. Take the Wow Challenge yourself. Bet you can't taste the difference or it's free.
Number 3, Google Glass.
Here are the basics of how to use Glass. This is your touchpad. It runs from your temple to your ear. Tap the touchpad to wake up Glass. You should see the display above your line of sight. Adjust it to see everything.
Where do we even begin with this colossal failure? Developed by Google's semi-secret research and development arm X Development, formerly Google X, Google Glass was the tech behemoth's attempt to turn its users into Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. Boasting a touchpad which could navigate a heads-up display and a 5-megapixel camera, the product offered a glimpse into the future of human technology interaction.
The home screen shows a clock. This is your timeline. It's a row of cards. Things to the left are happening now or coming up, like the weather, an upcoming flight, or an event in your calendar. You can tap on any card to see more.
That was until numerous privacy concerns and safety considerations were posed by the public, which posited that Google Glass could be used for nefarious purposes, like voyeurism or even political espionage. Altogether, Google Glass was ultimately discontinued in 2023.
In San Francisco last year, Glass explorer Sarah Slocum was attacked in a bar when she began videotaping without permission.
Cameras are everywhere. This is the 21st century, and this is just a part of the future. Obviously, people are having a hard time adapting to it and accepting it.
Number 2, H&M Coolest Monkey Hoodie.
H&M is apologizing after one of their ads created a lot of backlash on social media. An image of a black child modeling a sweatshirt with a "Coolest Monkey in the Jungle" slogan is being called racist. The image appeared on the British version of the Swedish retailer's online store.
Perhaps the most baffling, most head-scratching retail blunder of all time. One has to wonder how many degrees of checks and balances this sweatshirt passed to make it through to the H&M website. The hoodie resulted in an almost immediate public boycott of the fashion brand, with musical artists The Weeknd and G-Eazy pulling out of H&M collaborations and chastising the company's inexplicable choice to manufacture the offending merchandise.
The Weeknd, who collaborated with the brand, tweeted, "Woke up this morning shocked and embarrassed by this photo. I'm deeply offended and will not be working with H&M anymore."
Said H&M in response, quote, "We sincerely apologize for this image. It has been now removed from all online channels, and the product will not be for sale in the United States. We believe in diversity and inclusion in all that we do, and will be reviewing our internal routines." End quote.
H&M has apologized after using a black child to model a sweatshirt with the logo "Coolest Monkey in the Jungle." Worse, the shirt was made by the saddest child in the sweatshop. I said worse.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into settings and switch on your notifications.
Number 1, New Coke.
In the process of perfecting Diet Coke, we discovered something else, a new cola formula, a product which our flavor scientists quickly realized was highly preferred by in-house expert taste panels over Coca-Cola itself and, of course, over its primary competition.
Sometimes you just have to stick with what works. That's what executives at the Coca-Cola Company should have taken to heart following the catastrophic failure of quote-unquote New Coke. On April 1985, efforts to rejuvenate its hold on the market resulted in the decision to reformulate that classic Coca-Cola taste, citing a fear of losing their grip to Pepsi.
Recently, an independent research firm ran a taste test between Coke and Pepsi, and the taste more people chose was the taste of Coca-Cola. Yes, more people all across the country, when comparing Coke to Pepsi, chose the taste of Coke as the better taste.
After receiving over 40,000 calls and letters of customers' heavy dissatisfaction, Coca-Cola reversed its decision and reintroduced Old Coke just 3 months later. Although conspiracy theories abound that the whole move was a ploy to boost Coke sales, the company has consistently denied them.
Introducing the new taste of Coca-Cola. A taste that is Coke and everything a Coke means. A taste that's very familiar, yet totally new. A taste so good, so real, it couldn't be anything but a Coke. The great new taste of Coke. Watch for it, try it, and enjoy the best tasting Coke ever.
Which product left the worst taste in your mouth? Are there any we missed? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.
The little warning on the back kind of makes you a little nervous, you know, about the nutrients being pulled out. So I probably won't buy them because of that.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.